making monsters. What is going on? My name is Sam, and this is Headbangers and Hard Rock Television. And we are going to talk about one of my favorite bands from the 80s, and that is Metal Church. Metal Church, back, I think their debut album was in 1984, and that was self-titled Metal Church, Metal Church. And I played that album the cassette. It was a cassette. I played that cassette to basically to nothing. And that's when I thought I was a drummer, and unfortunately I found out that I really kind of suck. But learning the song Metal Church was one of my favorites to play, even though it was very easy. But that album was awesome. And then in 1986 they came up with The Dark, and The Dark had a bunch of great songs on it, and probably their biggest hit in the MTV era, and that was Watch the Children Pray. That is an awesome song. Please go and check it out if you've never heard that before. Watch the Children Pray. That is off the Dark album. Unfortunately, David Wayne leaves Metal Church, and they come in 1989. They had a debut album with their new singer, Mike Howe, which is, Blessed in Disguise. Yeah, Blessed in Disguise. Unfortunately, even though I'd seen it on MTV, they brought him out, and I don't know what it was. Just didn't click with me. It didn't click, and hopefully the guys aren't, I just didn't click with me. So all them albums with Mike Howe, and I know that Mike Howe left for a while, and then he brought in another singer, and I won't lie to you, I don't remember his name. So David Wayne leaves, fronts another band called Reverend. Go check it out. I believe they have 2 albums out. They were really, really good, really, really heavy, especially if you love David Wayne singing like I do. Like I said, unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know why it didn't click with me. The music wasn't bad with Mike Howe. The singing wasn't bad. It just didn't click with me. Maybe I liked a little bit of the rougher voice in David Wayne. But David Wayne in 2003, obviously everybody knows this. If you don't, I'm just going to go through it real quick. David Wayne in 2003 was in a pretty serious car accident, and I believe he passed away in 2005 from them injuries. And that is where Mike Howe stepped in. Well, in 2021, Mike Howe, he passes away from suicide. I know I just listened to an interview with Kirk, and Kirk said that, he was, at the time, he had this album wrote already in 2021. Everything was going. Him and Mike were starting to get together and work on it. I know that he said that Mike was going through a bunch of stuff, but he thought that he got through it, and it came to a really big surprise, what happened. For me, thinking that once Mike passed away, that Metal Church might be done. I didn't know if they were going to go through the whole thing of finding a singer and sticking around, but I think Kirk kind of felt the same way. But then all of a sudden, just got this renewed feeling and went out. He said that he didn't want to go out and have this real big, massive search with kind of finding a new singer. He didn't want to go through that. He wanted to find somebody in his circle, and that's where Mark Lopes. Now wait a minute, hold on. Please tell me if I'm saying this right. Mark Lopes, I've heard saying, which I think it's Mark Lopes, but it's Mark, other people have called him Mark Lopez. Can somebody tell me, is Mark Lopes right or wrong? Just say right or wrong in the comments if you're listening. And so I hear they got a new singer coming out, and then this is the trailer that I hear. Once I hear that trailer, I'm going, all right, listen to this. This guy is freaking belting it. So now I can't wait to hear what's coming out. So they released their first video and single, Pick a God and Pray. And I'm like, if this does not give you, I think they were even talking about, Kurt was talking how he wanted to bring this album, the feel, even though it's the production up to date, but he wanted the feel of the original albums from Metal Church and The Dark. He wanted that kind of feel for this album, and let me tell you what, it works, because Mark Lopes is a great addition. He brings that right to this album, and the album, I can't even pick a favorite song. I've been through this album 5 times. I've listened to this thing 5 times already, and every time I come up with a new song that I like. Yeah, I like them all, but then another one that sticks out more and more each time. He does give you that feel of David Wayne with the rough stuff, but he has his own style. He can really belt the freaking high notes. He can sing melodically. He can bring it heavy. He just does it all. And I'm just going to tell you now, it's pretty much straight rock and roll. I think there's only 2 songs, maybe 3, that actually has some leads some leads in it. They're not going to be no crazy leads. There's nothing going to go bursting off the wall with leads. It's very tastefully done. And what I was really surprised about as I go through this real quick, and then after they do that, they bring in another single release called Making Monsters. Yeah, Making a Monster. Is it called Making a Monster? Making a Monster, but it's Making Monsters. I could not get that out of my head. The first time I heard a song, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. The second time I heard it, I couldn't get the chorus out of my head. And that's what this album does. Not only does it have good rock, but the choruses, and Kirk said that he let Lopes write all the lyrics, all the stuff that he wanted to do. He basically did all the lyrics and the way they were put in. I know they might have went over it, but I think he had full range of everything. He didn't want, the only thing he said, he didn't want no dumb stuff in there lyric wise, like, the Satan stuff. He said he's a Christian. He don't want to hear all the Satan bull crap. He said it's a bunch of garbage. And he said none of the sexual stuff. And he wanted something like that. That was basically the boundaries he gave Mark. And let me tell you what, man, every song, Pick a God to Pray. That's a good one. And then the next one, Making Monsters, that is a good hook. And then a couple songs, Say a Prayer with 7 Bullets. That one's just, to me, just a good straight rock, a heavy rock song. It's a rock song. It's just, but it's a heavy rock song, and he does it great. I think my favorite is Me for Nothing right now. I love the hook on that and his voice in it. He's just got a, it's just a great, he does perfect. This is what I think, this is a good kick in the ass for Metal Church, and a good energizing album. You know what I mean? They got to be energized to go out and put this out there. Now, I know that when I seen this interview, they haven't been out live yet, and now they've had a couple dates, and I really would love to interview them guys. I know I'm a very small YouTube channel. I'm going to put a request in to see if these guys would like to come on for about maybe 10 minutes and talk about the album and how the touring's going. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to put it out there right now. But the other one that's really groovy sounding is my Favorite Sin. My Favorite Sin, that's just a good rock groove. That's all I can tell. This is a good album. Not only is it heavy, but it's just heavy rock, and then you get that thrash heavy. It just sounds like a lot of the older, when he's doing a lot of melodic, or a lot of the how can I break that down? It just got a feel. Some of the songs, when you hear the way they do it, it just reminds you of like their first album, even the second album, but mostly the first album on a couple of the little breakdowns that I was listening to. It just reminded me. It just sounded like Metal Church. I'll leave everything to Metal Church in the description. Now, if you look at the video that's on the screen, me and my buddy did a collab from Horns Up TV. We did our favorite 13 metal bands that redid covers, and that's pretty some awesome picks. And we both of us picked maybe a couple bands. If you'd like to see more of this stuff, please hit the subscribe button and like it. And if you could share it out, would be awesome. So we will check you next time.